Welcome to the age of industry. Fellow lovers of the Wolverse, today we shall be learning about the Alaris dynasty, Wolcadia's industrialization and colonization, and World War I. Now, the rest of the world, 1855. The British Empire is at its zenith, renowned for its glorious navy throughout the world. The Crimean War rages brutally throughout Eastern Europe, with major European powers directly betraying their Russian allies. The Revolutionary Wars of 1848 have strengthened the power of liberalism and nationalism, though they were thankfully defeated. And the Opium Wars have forcefully opened Qing China to the rest of the world, while the British Navy continues to annoy the Edo shogunate. That is our first divergence. It is the British, not the Americans, who hamper Japan. Now, King Ilzar of Wolcadia encouraged industrialization and modernization as a nationalistic desire to prevent Wolcadia from being humiliated, not a liberal, modernist, joining the modern world desire. And after rebuilding the Wolcadian nation, he sought to build an empire that would finally be respected throughout the rest of the world. Now, Wolcadia's first major colonial conflict, in terms of expansion and just we won't be humiliated again, was with Mexico, primarily during the French invasion. Following the withdrawal of Napoleon III's support of Emperor Maximilian, the Wolcadian army stepped in to restore order. However, the primary goal was to unify the Nafsirian people under Wolcadian control, bringing them under the empire. Now, Copland is a territory in southern Africa originally settled by Swedes and other Scandinavian peoples. Throughout much of its history, it was colonized by the Dutch and faced lots of immigration. During the Napoleonic Wars, the Coplander people fought tooth and nail against both sides. And on May 1st, 1882, Copland requested a Wolcadian intervention to maintain its sovereignty from British control. And they chose to join Wolcadia, considering, of course, Wolcadia is a much larger country at home. In April 12th, 764 YSJ, also known as 1898, Emperor Ilzar declared war on Spain due to their sinking of several Wolcadian fishing vessels. This began the Spanish-Wolcadian War, leading up to the Wolcadian colonization of the Philippines and Cuba. This war lasted only 1 year, but it became the start of Wolcadia's new colonial empire. Now, if you take a look at this, we witness the map of North America in 1900. Here you see Ethiopiana. Here you see Wolcadia, Mexico. Keep in mind that most of the Nafsirian lands have been unified by Wolcadia. We see Dixie, which has gained quite a lot of land over there. We see Varia. We see the American rump state, we see Atlantica, we see British Canada. Now, in regards to international diplomacy, on June 23rd, 1882, Emperor Ilzar of Wolcadia died, losing power to his son, Adam. Adam was much more belligerent than Ilzar diplomatically, and through his actions, he lost a lot of power to the nation's parliament and prime minister. Regardless, he was able to secure an alliance with Germany by 1910, taking full power showing Wolcadia's commitment, at least internationally. Meanwhile, the increased presence of desperate pirates in the Far East became difficult for the Wolcadians to truly contain. Noticing the dominance of pirates in Formosa, the Wolcadian government had enough and strong-armed the Qing dynasty. The purchase of this land eventually led to the establishment of the colony known as Frederickland. Now, let us take a look at what's going on in Britain, and we'll see a full imperial map of Wolcadia later. You have the Alaska Purchase. Wolcadia purchased Alaska from the Russian Empire. You have the Dominion of Canada, which is there, and then the Dominion of Cascadia. And you'll be hearing a lot more about Cascadia later on. In British-occupied Wolcadian Norseland, the British Empire's main fault was a lack of governance rather than overbearing colonialism. They gave this land naively to Americans who supposedly knew Wolcadian culture, not realizing what they've done. Wolcadians, especially those of Govarite descent, were oppressed by these rulers as racially inferior. And thus, during World War I, Wolcadia sided with the Central Powers against the Entente due to these territorial grievances. Between 1914 and 1916, the Wolcadian army advanced far into British Cascadia, succeeding in almost every battle. Meanwhile, the Pacific Armada of Wolcadia gave the British a good beating in regards to naval combat, simply because the British, most of their navy was separate. But that's where these people come into the picture. The United Kingdom, in fear of losing the war, sent a telegram to the Ethiopian Republic so it may join to reunify the island from Wolcadian control. The Wolcadian response was swift and brutal. While the Ethiopians had an army, theirs lacked the professional training, reliable equipment, and discipline for success. With Wolcadia successfully regaining its claimed territory and protests to end the war at home, Emperor Adam signed a peace treaty with the Entente, officially pulling out of the war on March 18th, 1916. Wolcadia restored its control over Norseland and maintained its colonial empire, but Wolcadia's growth does not contain the full story. World War I ended in Europe in 1918 with the destruction of the German Empire and the spread of democracy. Upon the Russian Revolution and installation of the Soviet Union, the old czars were given exile in the Wolcadian colony of Alaska. The brutal nature of Russia's civil war eventually led to a Soviet invasion of Ethiopia. Said Soviet Republic there was so brutal and so oppressive that Lavrenti Beria was horrified. This is important for later. Now, you think I'm going to go esoteric, aren't you? Nope, there's still a bit more of the story for me to tell. But until then... The Lord is the divine source of creation. He who is beyond all is beyond all. The honored, blessed, and great, most powerful, most beautiful, most most righteous, most wise. Most loving, for he is love of itself. That is it.